Hello, my fellow writing addicts! I'm Marissa, and today we're discussing NaNoWriMo. Now, for those of you who don't know what that stands for, it stands for National Novel Writing Month, which is November. I know I'm a little late, sorry, but you can still get out on this, I promise. It's not too late. Now, the challenge is writing a novel in a month, which is 50,000 words. That's what they want from you. And it's a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of self-discipline, but I promise you can do it. And I say that because I've done it before. Now, whether you have, you're gonna start NaNoWriMo right now, or you've already started it because you're on time like a boss, wish I was more like that, you're gonna need some tips to get through this because I do not want you to suffer as I suffered when I was younger. Holy crap, when I started this, it was a bitch. Now, the first thing is basically less of a tip and more something that not a lot of people know. And that is, if you are 17 and under, you can change your word count. So just keep that in the back of your mind as I run through the rest of the tips. And the first real tip I have for you is to make a schedule. Because essentially, we've done the math, I mean most people do, is that every day you need to write about, it's always about, 1,667 words, or basically, which adds up to around 12,500 words per week. So try to space yourself out that way. So that way you kind of know like when you can hit your mark. Because once you do, you're like, okay, I can either keep going or I can just be, nope, done. I'm going to come back tomorrow. I can't keep doing this today. Either way is good. And my next thing, and I especially think this is important, is have a book in mind. Have it be, you have the idea fleshed out, the world, the characters, because you don't want that to like slog you down later on. So definitely go in with a book in mind. That's what I'm doing this year. I don't like going in not knowing what I'm doing. I did that my first year because it just got sprung up on me, thanks to my teacher. I do appreciate him having me do it though. And it was rough trying to figure out the lore 2/3 in. What you can also do, and I especially think you should do this because it rides off the last one, is have a set date. I typically pick at the end of the first week when you figure out that you should keep or abandon the idea you have. Because sometimes you're like, oh, it's an amazing idea. And then you start writing it and you're like, wow, if I have to spend one more second on this project, I might actually commit homicide or suicide, either or. Bad things are happening. So I feel bad because this is going to happen like a few days after this video comes out, but if Sunday hits and you're like, nope, hate it, I'm going to go with this other idea, just know that after that day, you are stuck because it's point of no return, my friends. That's just what it is. And my next tip is make sure you know yourself as a writer. And this is knowing like when and where you can write, how often you can write. And I don't mean like, per day or per week. I do mean like how long you can go. I can only really write for about 2 to 4 hours. And that's still pretty good. I know some people who have it less, but I know that after that 4-hour mark, I have to walk away. Otherwise, I'll just drive myself insane. So try to do stuff like that. Maybe to have a schedule like, okay, on Fridays, I can write between these times. And on Mondays, I can write between these times and just kind of go throughout the week and maybe setting up days where you just can't write and that's fine. So the next tip I have for you is to basically do all the, pre-planning beforehand. I know I'm late on this, but it still rings true that you should try to do like your outlining, your world building, your researching, however much stuff falls under that based on what genre you're doing. Try to do it before so it doesn't steal your time away. That you're not like spending a week instead of writing, you're researching because you're like, I need to get that done beforehand, or it stops you from writing because you're like, ah, shit, I need to know the exact make and model of the, Civil War uniforms. I don't fucking know. Whatever you need. It always comes up pretty random. And of course, I know because it is late that some of you are like, shit, I didn't do that. That's okay. Because you can take a day or two to basically figure that out. You don't need to know everything, but you can basically make a vague outline. You're like, I can work within these parameters. And that actually sets up my next point beautifully, in that when I told you to make a schedule, just know that it's okay to fall behind on that schedule. It happens. Shit happens because life, like 2020, hates you. You're writing this in 2020, of course it's gonna crash and burn and at least attempt to, and you just gotta fight against it. And yeah, just try to, just know that like you gotta reschedule it from that point on and move on because TikTok bitches, you gotta get it done. And because all of this flows together, my next point is when you are scheduling, make sure to plan in some catch-up days. Like, okay, these days are to make sure that I hit the actual, word count, because sometimes, again, because life happens, you don't have the proper amount yet. So you gotta plan those catch-up days so you actually can catch up. The next thing that you should do is tell people you're doing NaNoWriMo. I don't mean like going on Facebook and doing it, unless that's how you tell your peeps, but tell your best friend or your writing friends, or hell, your family too, like whoever you live with, I'm doing NaNoWriMo, and these are for multiple reasons. One, so they don't hopefully distract you. When you say like you're just typing and crying and fiercely chugging whatever you need to keep yourself awake, they go, okay, it's NaNoWriMo, it'll be done at the end of the month, back off. It also has people who hold you accountable, like, hey, how's it going? Keep going. It gives you that encouragement. Just, like you need that kind of support at times where you're like, I don't think I can do this. And they're like, yes, you can. They turn into, oh God, I'm going to forget his name. The Just Do It guy. I cannot believe I'm forgetting his name. But just have that in the running back of your head. That's basically what you need to do. My next tip is that if you have more time, write more. And this is, of course, if you find that you wrote something faster than you thought, or hey, something got canceled, or I don't know, that friend, I don't know, whatever have you have more time suddenly. Write more, because this will save your ass down the line when you forget an appointment, when an emergency comes up, when you just have a shitty day and you're like, I can't. It'll save you later. Just really try to push yourself to do that. And of course, following that, don't worry about writing well. This isn't about, writing your magnus opus the first sentence, the first time you write it. This is about putting words on a page. That's it. That is the whole purpose of this month. Don't worry about anything else. So my next tip for you is to not edit, rewrite, or delete anything. Especially not deleting, because you need that sweet, sweet word count. The other two is because you'll be like me, where you get stuck in this perfectionism loop where you waste time trying to get that paragraph to be perfect. Or you're like, oh no, I have a plot hole, time to fix it. No. Like any rough draft, that's for later. Keep an open document open and you can write notes. That way it can keep you focused and not take time away from your actual writing, because you got a deadline. You gotta do it. Of course, if you're like me, the next tip will be super helpful, because it's reward yourself. Hooray! Maybe you get to the end of the week and you stayed on track. Maybe it's, like a milestone, like every 5,000 words, you get a treat, whether it be something small, like maybe you get to watch a movie, maybe you get a special treat you like from the store, whatever it is, if it keeps your motivation up, do it, It doesn't have to be anything crazy, so why not? Just maybe the push that you need. The next thing is, if you get stuck, maybe try being active. And I don't mean like exercise. I mean, you could take a walk, maybe you could clean something, hell, maybe even just taking out the trash in your house. That little walk from the kitchen to wherever your trash cans are might spark an idea. Get the blood flowing, and especially just get you out of that negative space that you feel yourself into. You could always just switch to a different scene. Maybe that scene isn't working for you. That's what I did a lot when I was writing my book, because fuck, I didn't want to. So move on to something you do want to, because it'll keep you, writing. Also, piggybacking off that thing is a tip I've actually never used before. And this is, you save a scene that you especially want to do for later. And this essentially means that maybe you're having a hard day. Maybe it's just like you're trying to essentially push it off, so that way, if you're having that shitty day, it's like, you know what? Now's the time. Break out that emergency scene, write that fun scene. That way you said, nope, I wrote today. Go me. Get that reward. And my last tip is to just stay positive. There is always next year. This is a learning experience. It's okay to fuck up. It's okay to fail. Hell, I bought a book from the Try Guys saying, the secret power of fucking up, because I do believe in it, that when you fail, you get this amazing chance to learn from your own mistakes, and you get to apply it for next year. You get to apply it even just for yourself or whenever you write your next book. Like, okay, this didn't work. I'm gonna try it this way next time. Whatever it is, just try to write, focus on the positive of it. Don't be like, oh, I failed, I'm terrible. None of that self-doubt shit. I am the queen of self-doubt and not telling you this. Keep it positive. so you can keep learning and keep bettering yourself. And with that, we move on to my experience because, again, no tips. I had to write a book that I now hate, even though my friends keep telling me it's not that bad. But it was NaNoWriMo, it was high school, and I had to write it for a grade. And it was only a novella, but I basically hated it because I didn't have these tips. I was, hunched over my laptop for a solid month on top of all the other homework and activities I had to do, trying to get it done. And I did succeed. And because of that, I'm very proud of it. Not the book, but my experience that I did it. I wrote a novella in a month. I got it done. I had done what I had never done before. I finished this project. Before then, I tried before many times to complete a book, and I never had, even the rough draft stages. But because of this book, I was able to write the rough draft. I later did multiple bits of editing. I got it bound thanks to CreateSpace. And now my friends have this, basically like an archive of the first bit of writing I ever completed. And I can look back on it anytime I feel self-doubt and go, no, you've done it before, so you can do it again. And that's why I love NaNoWriMo so much, is that it gives me that bit of confidence to keep going and to keep trying. So before I say goodbye to you lovelies, I am part of an event. I know, right? Exciting. I am going to be taking part of a panel for NaNoWriMo specifically, which goes perfectly with this video, and it is going to be on November 13th from 1 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. It is called Beyond Fall Arts Festival, and it is hosted by Beyond Thought, the Creative Arts Journal. I actually think I said their name wrong. I think it's just Beyond Thought, but whatever, it's a creative arts journal. My friend's a part of it. She actually runs it. I love her to pieces. I'm so grateful that she asked me to be a part of it because it's not just me, it's also my writing friends. It is my friends Renee Jean and Victoria Carr. It might be Care. I never actually asked her how her name's pronounced, but hey, here we are. There's also another panel about going professional. I'm not on it, but I'm excited to go watch it myself. The first panel that I'm on will be at 1. I'm not sure about this one, but there's a website that I'll link in the description below for you guys to go check out all this information. So the panel about going professional has Aloha Studios, it has Miss AV, it has Lynn Crane, and a few more people that I can't name right now. And there's going to be an art workshop and a raffle because they actually got sponsored. So there's real prizes you can win, and I'm excited to see if maybe I can take part of that because if I can get something, it's amazing. I love gifts, and I hope to see you guys there. And that's all I have for you today. Please tell me in the comments down below if you guys are participating in NaNoWriMo. I'm really excited to see who else is doing this with me. And of course, you can always tell me on Twitter at writing_addicts or Facebook at facebook.com/writingaddicts. And if you get really creative, you can tell me on Instagram at writing.addicts. And please hit that subscribe button, the like button, the notification bell so YouTube actually tells you when I post things. And I will see you all next time. Bye, lovelies!